This is Chris Lee of Vandy Sports here to break down what Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lea said at his press conference on Tuesday preceding the South Carolina game. And for background, Vanderbilt played a game in Gainesville last Saturday, got beat 42-0 by a very talented Florida team. That game was 21-0 at half, but as we've noted, Vanderbilt did some things in the first half. It had 200 yards of total offense, probably should have had 13 points. Got a touchdown taken off the board, maybe not rightfully so, but whatever the case. Clark Lea didn't reference those things specifically on Tuesday, but he did talk about getting small wins, which is kind of the point where you're at, where they are as a program. They have lost umpteen straight SEC games now. They've gotten beat 104-0 in their first two SEC games by two very good teams and two teams that may end up in the top five nationally. But it's been a rough season, and this is the point that you get to where the season's getting difficult. You get the same questions. It's hard to know how to ask questions. It's hard to know what you can say when you're a coach. But Clark Lea today talked about getting small wins, and I thought that was a good point because Vanderbilt, if you watched the game, did get some in the first half last week before it fell apart in the second half. He was asked about pass rush today, and I know that's been a sore topic. Vanderbilt is at or near the bottom of the NCAA in terms of sacks. He said it really depends on winning one-on-one battles, which you're not doing much of right now. Said opposing quarterbacks have too much time, and that's been problematic. And so, to me, frankly, I think that's going to be hard to correct. If they haven't rushed the passer early in the season against some of the teams they faced, although Georgia and Florida have very good offensive lines, it's going to be hard to do it against other SEC teams, but that's how Clark Lea diagnosed the situation. He said that they need to win more one-on-one battles. Now, there were some personnel matters, and three guys particularly came up. One is Ben Bresnahan. I asked him about Vanderbilt's tight end and his role in the passing game. He said they had some plans for him in the UConn game, and they had some open routes for him on Saturday that they're just not finding him and hitting him. But he did acknowledge they want him to be a big part of the passing game. He did mention staying healthy. Ben had some health troubles, I believe, in fall camp, if I remember correctly. So maybe that's one thing. Ben got off to a slow start. He missed some time. You miss some time sometimes. I'm not going to say you're not in the quarterback's memory, but you develop rapport with other guys, and you've seen that happen with Chris Pierce and Will Shepard and some guys like that. So a few things that have worked against Ben Bresnahan so far were just health and being in there. So we'll see how that resolves going forward. I don't know if most people noticed, but Delfin Castillo played left guard against Florida, played 29 snaps, according to Pro Football Focus. So I asked him about Delfin Castillo and his role going forward. Now, one reason I asked, you don't often see true freshmen play at Vanderbilt right away on the offensive line, and none of them really in fall camp of the freshman linemen were in position to play. Castillo might have been the closest, but in any case, you're now seeing Vanderbilt have some issues at guard, so Delfin Castillo is finding some playing time, found some on Saturday. Now, he's not listed on the depth chart this week, and I asked Clark about that. He said that's not really a reflection of the situation. He could play this week, and they felt like he played well against Florida in Gainesville. And I mention this because usually this is the point in the season where you start to see freshmen emerge and play. And right now, if you're Vanderbilt in a season that's not going well, in a season that's not going to end in a bowl game, you look for things. You look for young players to make steps and show progress and prepare themselves for the next season. So to see freshmen start to break through at this point of the season and play some, it really isn't a surprise. And Delfin Castillo might be one to keep your eye on. He did come on in the UConn game. I believe he played a rep at center when Julian Hernandez got hurt, so watch for that one. Finally, he was asked about Rocco Griffin, who's been a little banged up. Patrick Smith got a lot of the workload in Gainesville on Saturday. He said Rocco is fine, should be available, said he saw him yesterday. So the Commodores are very thin at running back. Of course, Raymond Davis is done for the season at this point with a toe injury that resulted in surgery. So you will see Griffin and Smith get the bulk of the workload going forward, frankly, because they're pretty much out of options. Dylan Betts-Pauley is not ready, and I think that's it in terms of the scholarship running backs. I think there's only 4. So that's kind of where Vanderbilt is it's going to have guys healthy, and Rocco Griffin's a guy they need to get healthy because, again, just the roster of running backs is very thin at this point. Thanks for watching the Vandy Sports YouTube channel. We'll be back with more content coming later this week.